Thursday morning. Darrell, good to have you with us. And
Thank you, Stan. Great to be here.
I hope your weekend went well.
Weekend went well. It's just a really busy time.
It is a busy time for everybody.
Good time to be living in Dent County, though, I'll tell you that.
You're right.
Never appreciated living in Dent County any more than I have over the last week or two, watching the news and listening to the news.
Oh, yeah.
Our one positive coronavirus test that we had, they've now gone through the quarantine and never were really sick, but anyway, we're over the quarantine period, and we've had no new positives. And if you look on that map, we're one of the few states and the few counties in the state that have no positives.
Right.
In it.
Right
so,
now.
Yep. So.
Yeah. And the neat thing about what we have right here, and I think people have taken this very seriously in our area, Darrell. I think a lot of people were a little bit more lighthearted about it and think it's not going to be a big deal, but as we've come to see, when there have been groups of people get together, and we saw in Lake of the Ozarks, you get some people who are going to get this virus. You're going to see it in the major cities when they get people together, and these collection of people for protests, they're going to be spreading the virus. They don't even know they have it. It's going to go somewhere. I do want to compliment, I know that a lot of times you have brought along our friends from the Dent County Health Center, and they have done a tremendous job. Kendra Mowbray and her group have done a fantastic job, and they have addressed all the situations. With a one positive case, they checked out all the people they were in touch with and isolated them if need be, or quarantined them if need be. I'll tell you, that's a difficult job to stay on top of that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
But that was an interesting case where that person, last I knew, had actually never exhibited any symptoms, was never really sick at all, but did wind up testing positives for a deal. So anyway,
but they have followed their instructions to keep it from spreading. And now I guess that was the note I wanted to make. And I know you've had Kendra in many times, and she acknowledges that fact. And her staff has done a tremendous job. The hospital has done a tremendous job in keeping all this under wraps. And again, we want to thank everybody who has practiced social distancing and keeping it good.
And just continue to remain vigilant.
All right.
Yes.
Well, we have a couple meetings to talk about, Darrell.
Okay.
What would you like to talk about first?
Well, I want to mention first that on our jail, the jail work is very near completion.
Okay.
We've got they discovered once they got done that they wanted a different tint on the glass in the control room to allow better vision. So they're going to get that replaced. But in the meantime, most all the rest of the work has been done. And if you've been by, the grass came up great. We're mowing the grass outside. We wanted to hold a full-fledged ribbon-cutting open house once, thinking probably like on a Saturday afternoon, and invite everybody in the county, anybody that wanted to come and participate in this ribbon cutting. But in light of what's happened here, with the concerns over the coronavirus and the distancing and different things, it's just made it kind of impractical, to be honest, and probably a little bit irresponsible to try to do it something like what that would have been. Because frankly, it would have had to been, obviously, because of the way the jail would have been something we would have tried to do outside with some speakers, but invite a lot of people and then let people take tours of the jail. So in lieu of doing that like that, the sheriff has been working on this, and he has announced that starting next Wednesday, Thursday and Friday and Saturday, but next Wednesday, June the 10th, Thursday, June 11th, and Friday, June the 12th, the Sheriff's Department will be conducting tours, and they'll be going in groups of, I'll try to keep it down to 5 or less people. Just come to the public entrance off of 5th Street, and just park in the sidewalk, take the sidewalk right down to that public entrance, just down at the corner of 5th Street and Water Street, and there will be staff. He's going to have staff ready those days from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. to give people tours of the new jail. And I think several folks have been through it, but by and large, the public hasn't had a chance to see inside and what it is. It's not like anything probably most people imagine, and it's done right. I think we got a nice facility to show off now and be proud of and make good use of. And the sheriff is planning on very shortly making good use of it. And once the tours and things are done, the following week they'll start transferring prisoners and so forth and so on.
Like
So
right after June 15th, somewhere in there, Darrell?
approximately, something like that.
In that
Yeah,
week, possibly.
Friday, June, but then they'll also be on Saturday, June the 13th. They'll be doing tours from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. But on those other days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, they'll be from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay.
So if you get a chance, come out and see it. It's what you're, every time you buy something, some of your tax dollars are helping pay for it, and we appreciate it. But I think we're going to find that it was a very, very worthwhile investment for our county.
Something much needed, no doubt about that.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yep.
very good.
And I can't say enough about the great job Septagon Construction has done. Prost Construction, the company, and and now I'm drawing a blank on the electric company, but I'll think of it before we get done today.
Okay.
But Brown Heating and Cooling, they done the work on the HVAC, a local company here, done that. So really all the way through, it's been the workers I think have just done a great job. And kudos to Dwight Ramsberg, who worked for Septagon Construction. It was here all the time, keeping everything organized. And Meyer Electric, there we go, Meyer Electric. And we've got local people right here at Salem
Right, I was gonna say
that
that
work for Meyer Electric. And so anyway, it's been a good project. The people have done a great job, I feel, on it. Have been very conscientious, and they've worked really diligently with the sheriff's office and with the commission about different things that they'd see, working then with us, with the contractor, with the construction management firm, and then with the architects to look at possible problems they'd see and work those out. So, but I hope everybody that's interested can come and have a chance to go down and see the jail, and it'll be your one chance to see it like this, and that'll be it. Otherwise, not much public access into the actual jail.
The only other way to visit then the next time
you don't want to visit that
by
way.
Admission only.
Yeah,
right?
you don't want to do it that way.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
So anyway, we'd like I say, we'd like to have had a formal ribbon cutting and so on, but it's just not practical and advisable.
And I heard, when I was voting, some people had asked me and said, why did it take so long when they were so close early? I said, well, COVID-19 hit.
Yeah.
Everything got shut down. I said, a little bit of weather, but the commission had said it wasn't going to be ready in December. They already knew that. They were looking at hopefully March, but then when COVID hit, there was just
right.
nothing.
And some things that we wanted done a little differently, and we said, look, we're not in a great rush. Let's get this done right now before we go in and try. It's way easier to get some of these things done, and then the COVID-19 thing hit, and it wasn't a matter of the contractor here wanted to do it. It was a matter of the suppliers.
Sure.
Ran into supply problems.
The city still has a problem getting in meters
Oh
for
my
their water
gosh.
meters. They
Oh
still
my
can't
gosh.
get them in. They have to be programmed. They can't get them shipped because of COVID-19.
Yep. My heart goes out to the citizens and the city for that whole deal there, and it's an unfortunate deal, but hopefully they'll work through it.
Yeah, very
So
good.
anyway, so that's where we're at, and again, that's next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The sheriff and his staff will be conducting jail tours. They are asking people to wear masks. It isn't necessarily a requirement. There are some people that simply don't have them. I think they will have some masks available, but if that is something that is of grave concern to you, and wear a mask, but if it does worry you because somebody doesn't, then it's not a law, not a requirement. So anyway, that's kind of how that will be. But they will be trying to take them in groups of 5 or less. So a family group can come together and go see, and some things like that.
Very good. All right, the commission received some money from the federal government, and
Yes, sir.
You had discussed at the time about how this would be very difficult for the county to be able to distribute this on their own with being part-time or putting extra burden on a county clerk or some other office holder, and the commission did elect to talk with Bonnie Prigge and MRPC about contracting this service out.
Yes, Dick County, along with several other counties in the Merrimack region, are going to be contracting with MRPC to handle the administration of these CARES Act dollars, and that's $1,827,000 and some odd cents that has been sent to the county to cover costs directly related, and this is important, directly related to the COVID-19 or coronavirus emergency, and to cover costs directly related to costs incurred from March 1st through December 30th of this year. So it's costs that haven't even actually been incurred yet. And everybody's holding their breath that there won't be another surge in it once people start getting going again and schools start and all these things. We don't know what's going to happen, but at any rate, it is to cover the costs directly related to the COVID-19 costs that we can use these dollars to reimburse. There's really, I look at it, there's really two main pieces of this thing.
Okay.
One is the public entities piece, where we can entities can request reimbursement for expenses that they've had, or reimbursement for expenses or for dollars they're going to spend to be better prepared to even meet this emergency and test and some things. Anyway, there's that's the public entity part. Public entities being the county. We can get reimbursed for some of our expenses. They're fairly minimal in the big scheme of things, but at any rate, from some different supplies and different things we've done, we can get some reimbursement. But the city can apply for reimbursement. Schools, the health center, hospital, fire departments, for PPE or whatever expenses they might have incurred. That's the public entity part. That one is very clear, and I mean it's really very, very clear under the guidelines, and this is federal dollars that are sent to the state. The state has merely passed them on down to the counties, but it does fall within the federal guidelines of what these qualifying expenses are. It's also very clear that there will be audits, and if it's found that the county disbursed money that didn't fall within the guidelines, the county will be responsible for repaying those funds. So we're going to try. We're not going to be real horsey on purpose or anything on this. What we are, it does require documentation to document what those expenses are that you're reimbursing. Because without it, they'll tell you, the auditors will say, if it's not documented, it didn't happen. So therefore, at any rate, what we've done, we've contracted though with MRPC to handle administration of the whole program. As I say, there's two pieces there's the public entity part where we can get those entities reimbursed. There's also a part of this for the private sector, private small businesses, if you will.
Right.
And it's but the wording there is very unclear because it's where we can use that money for grants for small businesses to help cover the cost of closures. Now, it isn't clear though whether they're talking about documented costs that you can document with invoices, or are they talking about the cost of closing as in lost revenue and something like that? That's what I, as a farmer or businessman, would say, this is what this cost me, but can I provide an invoice or document for that? That gets a little more difficult, and we're trying to get clarification on that.
Right.
Now then, for right now, we know we can move forward with reimbursing the public entities that can provide the documentation. We're going to contract with MRPC. There will be a meeting on this today at 1 o'clock at the community center at the Armory.
Remember, we're recording this on Thursday.
Right,
so
we are.
that's
That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, I better back up here. We're recording this on Thursday.
Yeah.
So the meeting, as this goes over the air on Friday morning,
held yesterday.
You're listening to it here on Friday morning. That meeting will have been yesterday. Okay. Yeah, I have trouble wrapping my mind around the fact that we're recording this one day, but it'll be tomorrow when it's on the air. So, anyway, well, at any rate, for public entities that have incurred any expenses at all, they will need to contact MRPC. If you can, talk to Kelly Sink. She will be the main point person at MRPC that will be handling this on behalf of the county. They will be taking those applications. They'll have an application form for each entity to fill out for their request, and they'll have to provide that documentation to them. They will handle that. They will be able to answer the questions. They're working with attorneys on questions of legalities of, if something is covered or not. They are continuing to work with us and with our MAC attorney, Missouri Association of Counties attorney, to unravel particularly that small business portion of this thing. And within a month or so, I think we can get that out then and start inviting those applications for that. But they're going to be in a much better position to take those calls any day as they come in and have somebody that can really answer their question, and will be devoting a great deal of their time and efforts to getting this done and done right. And MRPC has a good record of documentation and getting things done to meet oversight when it's done. So we feel pretty good about that. And I know right off the bat when I heard this come out, I thought, man, oh man, how this is going to work on a county level for somebody. I mean, this could be a real deal with all the questions and things. And Actually, matter of fact, the day it came out and we were notified we were going to get it, I talked to Bonnie, and she said, and Priggy at MRPC, and she indicated that, well, they'd have to take a look at that. I talked to Randy Verkamp, presiding commissioner of Phelps County, then shortly after that, and he agreed that probably our best bet, even for Phelps County too, was he was hopeful that MRPC could handle the administrative part of this thing.
Right.
So they'll be doing that under contract and just charging their hourly rates for clerical and their various staff to do that. So
anyway. A lot of the larger communities that are larger counties than us have their own dedicated county auditor.
Right.
Different things of that nature.
And they
so
have
they
a
do
whole
now have
staff.
to contract it out. They can use their county auditors to do that.
Right. That's right. So as MRPC gets these applications, they'll review them, make sure the documentation is all correct and proper, and that it meets the guidelines. They then will forward those back over here to the counties for the commission, because all of these payments will have to meet the county commission's approval, and then they'll be paid just like any other invoice will be. But MRPC will have that documentation. They'll be tracking on spreadsheets, and then it'll be paid out of the fund. We have a special fund now set up. We had as you know, we had a special budget hearing to adopt a budget to keep this money in and to pay it out of. And so the treasurer then will be cutting those checks, and the treasurer, I, and the county clerk sign off on all checks that get written. That check there actually those checks the county treasurer will cut those, but actually there will have to be a warrant though that is approved by the commission. So it'll work, and then our balance that we're showing should at all times match up with the balance that MRPC is showing. We will then, they'll keep track of that. Now, the only caveat in all that is like a county office holder, the sheriff, or our janitor, whatever, as we go through this, as they are getting supplies, if there are some of them supplies that would be because of the COVID-19 deal, and we can charge off to it, we will take care of those in-house rather than filling out another application, sending it to MRPC, coming back. We'll cut out the middle person on those deals. We'll take care of those direct. When we do that, though, we're going to go ahead and send MRPC a copy of that invoice
or
bill,
receipt,
and what that amount was, so that again they can put that in their records on the tracking sheet that they're using, and then that way what they're showing and our showing the balance will at all times, and so it'll be done correctly.
So again, the business part of this not established yet, and it won't be done. That'll be a whole separate entity when it comes out, and there will be a meeting later on once that has been determined.
We'll get another meeting. I'm sure we'll get us another meeting down here for the private small businesses to be able to learn what they can do and what they need to do to be able to qualify, and what we're going to do. I think many counties are talking about, I don't know that anybody's 100% yet, but maybe they are. But I know everybody was, the county people, commissioners I've talked to, it was a big question of, well, what can we for sure enough do? Now, everybody pretty much thinking was that they would set up a deal of so many $1,000 grants, maybe 5,000 or whatever, pull a number out of the air. But anyway, that they would make available for business, if they qualified and could do. But the whole fly in the ointment was determining what qualifying is.
Right.
So we're working on that, working with the feds, with the lawyers, and the people there to get something in writing as to what qualifies.
And you know as well as I do, Darrell, there's going to be some crossover things with the PPPs and the IDLs and things of that nature. Plus, my thinking is on some of this unemployment money, where people are getting $600 a week, being laid off, that didn't cost the owner anything on the $600, but it does on the regular unemployment. Will go against his rate, and even if you reimburse them that money, unemployment people, Division of Employment Security, is still going to jack your rate a little bit, because you can get that paid back, but it doesn't make any difference. It comes out of your coffer. So they've got a lot of it's not as easy as it sounds to just come up with a simple plan, because there is no simple plan.
Right.
Yeah.
And and again, this thing is just it's just worded very vaguely, especially on the private small business side. Like I said, the public entity side, it's really very clear and pretty simple. If you've bought anything and you've got invoices for stuff you bought because of the coronavirus pandemic thing after March 1st, get with MRPC and get them the application form and the copies of your documentation, and it's pretty much a slam dunk.
Public entity
We can get you.
Yeah.
Now you can't you can't double dip. You can't get reimbursed for something that you've already been reimbursed with somebody else.
Sure.
And it'll be the same way we know it'll be the same way on that private thing too. There are some programs out there that some private entities have been able to avail themselves of, and so they'll have to watch that. So at any rate, there's more information coming on that, but hopefully the meeting for the public sector, some good information was received, and we'll be getting that money out. I want to get the money out. That's what it's for. It's it's almost daunting to think that we would have a need for 1.8 million here in Dent County.
But it's for the rest of the year. You just don't know yet.
That's the thing,
Yeah.
and we're not going to, you don't want to jump in and spend it all right now, and then find come fall, you got to meet. Now, any monies that we have not spent by the end of December will have to be repaid back to the state.
Right.
And I forget now, they've got some deal where what they have to use that money for then if they get it back and so on, which is still goes towards covering the cost of the pandemic. But that's what we're doing, and that's where that'll be. So
Very, very good.
look forward to getting some more information out to those small businesses. Because, we've had a lot of small businesses that were seriously affected, and it seriously cost them. If we can just hammer down what qualifies as a
Right.
cost of closure. And things.
Even if it just covers all the expenses of them having a business, because you still got utilities, you still got to pay rent, you still have
mortgages, or
you
whatever.
you still have things that are going on that you have to pay with no income coming in.
Yeah.
That makes it very difficult.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
and there are, like you mentioned, there were a number of programs where people could be laid off and brought back, and an idle program giving $10,000 to some, as much as $10,000 to some businesses, and then the payroll protection program to keep people on for another 8 to 10 weeks. And so, it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Yeah.
It'll be very good.
Hopefully we can get a bunch of that money out into the hands of our small businesses that need it and deserve it.
Especially some of those who are struggling right now to get back on their feet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We had some CART money come in.
Yep. Every month, towards the end of the month, CART, which is a county aid road trust dollars, comes from, as we talked about before, that's your fuel tax dollars at work every time you fill up with gas, and also buy new vehicle sales, or on vehicle sales, period. The sales tax on vehicles, trailer sales, and so forth goes into that fund. That's what the state uses to fund MoDOT, and there is a small portion of that money that comes back to cities and counties. And for Dent County, it's about $700 and some thousand now, as I recall, in our budget annually. So we do watch it closely. It's a big chunk of money of our budget. And again, that is your fuel tax that's based per gallon. So as fuel usage goes up, then the revenues generally go up, or as car sales and things go up.
Right.
And when them things slow down, then CART goes down. So I think we're starting to see, with this last CART revenue report, a little bit of the effect of the COVID-19 and the economy being shut down for a while, being slowed down anyway, not shut down. I don't think we shut down. Our economy didn't really slow down and shut down quite as much as some of the other areas did, percentage-wise, but still, there was a definite slowdown in traffic and the things. So, but at any rate, our May CART receipts this year were down about $12,000 from May of last year, put us down about 2.4% for the year to date.
Yeah, but our April CART was up.
Our April CART was unbelievably
Yeah.
up from the year before. Now, obviously, that was April CART. That April CART funding doesn't really reflect any April monies.
No.
That goes back to
February,
January,
yeah.
February for the most part. It takes a while, for it to trickle in, as you know. So anyway, we are starting to see that, and I expect as we go through the summer, or at least the early part of the summer here, we'll see the effect more on our general revenue and law enforcement and jail sales tax revenue as well. But, fact is, though, we're back going, and seeing people out more and doing business, and commerce is picking up, and the tourism business is picking up, and I look forward to the canoe rental folks being able to get back in full operation, and hope they have a good summer.
The social distancing and things of that nature really putting a strain on them.
It is. And that's a trick on how to maintain the social distancing when you're hauling people to the river on a bus I suspect there'll be more huge family units than anybody ever dreamed of before.
Either that, or they, have somebody drive a vehicle down there.
Yep.
Separate of the bus and be able to bring them back. I just don't know how.
I don't either.
That's going to be
it's
going to be tough.
Yeah.
Well, we wish them the best in trying to figure it all out, and hopefully they'll, somewhere down maybe in the middle of summer, relax that a little bit more. So we don't know, but we don't want a recurrence of the COVID-19 at all. That's for sure. You did have Salem Economic Development Director and Dent County Economic Development Director, because she plays both roles. Miss Sally Burbridge came in just to give an update, her monthly update that she gives the commission. There's still some positive things going on there, and there's also some programs, and she was talking to the commission about that.
There are still people she's working with that are interested in either relocating or locating a new business, that have been looking at possibly locating here. And so that's good to hear. She comes, Sally, and I really appreciate the job Sally Burbridge is doing for the city of Salem and for our community in general. And she's Salem Economic Development Director, but she's working in the community as a whole and in the county as a whole. And we do help support with the city on that, for that salary on that. And she comes in every month, gives us a very nice, quick but comprehensive update of kind of what's going on. She's been working with, as I say, some businesses that are interested in possibly locating here. She's also working very hard on getting 25 acres in the industrial park as certified, state certification ready. And there's only about 30 of those across the state. Industrial parks that actually are what they call certified ready, and that's where they're cleaned off. There's utilities there ready to
step
go.
in and start.
Right. So it makes it quick to get going. When somebody wants to locate, what do they need as far as building, it's ready for them to build on, or to get a building built or moved in to do something. So anyway, she's working on that, and then she's also working on a program that would help private folks pay for cost of demolition of derelict housing buildings. There's a lot of derelict housing that needs to be, and is many of these are not housing anybody. We call them housing, but nobody's living in them. They're too bad a shape, and they're really not doing the landowner any good at all. And so,
except it cuts back on his taxes because they are in such bad shape.
Right. So, and the landowner would be better off to be rid of them. And so she is looking at a program that does help. Many times it's fairly expensive to get an old house demolished and cleared away and hauled away. It's not a cheap endeavor, as you can imagine. So, anyway, she is working on a program. There are some dollars out there for some things like this, and so she's working on a program there as well to help defray some of the cost, or all the cost for some of these worse derelict housing.
Right, and she gave a really good synopsis of the housing markets in Salem and in Dent County, which I had not seen a collected housing map like that, or I should say collection of data like that. And she did want to report, too, that because of the Class 4 status that Salem has, they cannot require you to demolish. That's why this program she's talking about is a voluntary one, where you would voluntarily say, yes, I would have it demolished, and then the city could possibly help pay for that.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of the key to it. And the hands are tied a little bit by the city. They can't go in there and just tear down, some other subdivisions, or actually communities, Darrell. I think we all know them. They're the larger communities. They just go in there and raise the property. Let's take it.
If they condemn your property, then you can be,
they can knock it down and tear it away. And so that's not the case here in Salem, and so makes it a little bit different. But we all know the housing market, as far as rental housing market in Salem and Dent County, is tough. And I know you work with the MRPC, with the Public Housing Authority, on HUD housing, and there is a lot of HUD housing in Dent County, but they have to meet very stringent requirements.
That's right. Yeah, right. Yeah, they do. We got I believe it's if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's a little over 100 units in Dent County that are rented with HUD assistance. It's sizable. You just wouldn't think about it, but it's a sizable number. And they are inspected though, and the landowners have to meet minimum requirements if they want to be on the HUD program.
Right.
So, and they will. They do. Yep.
Right. We also want to remind people who do have low income, or may have I will say a moderate income, is that the South Central Community Action Agency can help you with your home.
Uh-huh.
They have a number of programs there to help you, including weatherization programs and other improvement programs for heating and cooling. So there is an option there for you to help yourself, and you might be able to get those needed jobs done for virtually nothing or pennies on the dollar.
Yes, that's right. Contact the Community Action Agency. I don't have that number right offhand.
I don't
with me.
either.
We've mentioned it several times over the years and months. But at any rate, if you contact South Central Community Action Agency of Missouri, they can get you that information. And there are, as you say, there are income guidelines that do apply. But if if you're fairly low income, and we've got a number of folks, then retirees and things that would probably qualify for some assistance through the Community Action Agency to help with weatherization and just simply needed home repairs.
Right. And even if you don't think you are, and if you have a couple of children, that income level, the federal poverty level, is actually higher than I think many people believe.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So
Costs nothing to check and find out.
That's exactly right. And they have funds in all of money available in all of the funds that they do. So
yes,
right now, this is a perfectly good time to do it, especially with the air conditioning season. I mean, Darrell, right now, virtually upon us now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, really hit us this week.
Yeah, it definitely has gotten a little bit sticky out there. The road and bridge crews have been doing as much as they can. We've had some wet weather, dried out there for a little bit. They're doing a lot of different grading and stuff of that nature. But still, right now, here we are. As of this morning, we had a nice little storm, and we're going to have some more pop-up storms. But we have a tropical storm, Cristobal, coming in that really we do not know what kind of effect that's going to have yet.
Right. Now, you said this morning. Again, we're taping this on Thursday.
On Thursday, that's what I'm saying.
So
this morning is
probably
Thursday.
pretty. Hopefully, it's pretty nice by.
Well, there may be a little bit of
when
rain
this is airing on Friday morning. But at any rate, yeah, it's hard to tell. It sounds like a pretty good storm brewing down there in the Mediterranean. So and sometimes those have a way of really affecting us big time. So there's been a lot of hay put up here over the last few days. I can tell you that. A lot of hay got knocked down and put up while we've had this dry days.
Good timing if they did.
I'm hoping nobody out there got hay wet with this that came through on Thursday morning. But at any rate, it's hard to tell. But the road and bridge crews have been very busy. They've been spreading sand and gravel, or spreading sand. They've been grading, spreading gravel. Don't spread any sand. And cleaning out and replacing culverts, repair and chip and seal roads, and et cetera. And so just business pretty much as usual there.
Checking for down trees and limbs when we get those high winds.
Get those little storms
we haven't really
come
had,
through.
So
been pretty lucky so far on that.
We haven't had too much of that yet, but we have had some pretty good rains here lately, which softens up those roads. And then when you do get a gully washer, all of a sudden it can do some damage. I was watching the news the other night where they've been repairing a bridge out in Christian County, and the entire one side of it caved in because of the water being so high. They've been trying to fill it and replace it, and all of a sudden it just all went out, and they had to extend the bridge out and actually do a lot. The county crews there had to do a lot of work, and they've got the bridge closed right now. It's making people really anxious because it takes another 20 minutes to get around because of that bridge being closed. However, once it's open, it'll be a much more secure bridge.
Yeah.
Than you currently have. You went to an MRPC External Relations Committee meeting, a regular committee meeting. Most of that was about CARES, but they did set a date for the annual meeting.
Yeah, and we actually talked about this a little bit in our last radio program, but actually we did. The MRPC annual dinner, awards dinner, will be October 22nd, and it will be hosted again at Lynn State Technical College up at Lynn. So look forward to that. So, folks, keep that on your calendar.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Let's see. I would mention also that we did approve a request also from the Sheriff's Department, from the Sheriff come in. He has one of the oldest, probably the oldest patrol car they have left that he'd like to seek bids from people. They like to sell it. So those bids will be open June 22nd, 10 a.m. The car has 165,000 miles on it. So it's one of the older Ford, the old Ford Crown Victorias to use. So,
Barney didn't drive that one.
No, he didn't drive that one, I don't think. But anyway. But at any rate, if you need some more information on that, you want to look at the car, call the sheriff's office at 729-3241. They can give you more information on getting bids in for that car. And again, that'll be we'll open the bids on June 22nd. I think if you call him, you'll see. I think the bids have to be due in the day before. But anyway, and then also that if you have any more questions about the tours that the sheriff's going to be putting on for the jail, you can call 729-3241 as well for those things. And you can ask about the tours. And again, I want to go over that again. The sheriff will be conducting tours for the new jail next week, Wednesday, June 10th, Thursday, June 11th, Friday, June 12th, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., and again on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in groups of 5 or less. And again, I apologize. We're not going to have the big ribbon cutting that we'd hoped to have. And, I was hoping to have it, and just to be able to recognize at that point then some of the people that played such a part in this. But to be honest, you know what? It's the citizens here that are listening to this and that come to see it are the ones that deserve all the credit, because it's without the citizens supporting it, that it wouldn't be nothing but a grassy spot down there. So,
well, maybe through the gravel.
Yeah,
some of the gravel.
Yeah.
The only other thing I wanted to mention was we did have a municipal election that was held on Tuesday. Of course, it's always a crazy time, but I wanted to tip my cap to Angie and all the poll workers and everything, and I thought they did a really good job. It was a 14% turnout. Not overbearing, but still, there were times it was rushed, that the people were in. They made sure that everybody stayed 5 to 8 feet away, really, mostly about 8 feet away. And they didn't even touch stickers. If you want a sticker, you can pick one up. You can pick up your pen. They did everything as close as I could find by the book to keep everybody from having any kind of hand touching or anything of that nature. So that was all. I mean, I know that the Secretary of State came in and helped that out with a little bit of money and provided some things. But Darrell, that was a whole new way of holding an election. And I know the poll workers did a tremendous job. That wasn't very easy. I mean, you're used to seeing people all the time.
Yep. Whole new experience.
But anyway, I want to congratulate all those who were.
I want to
elected.
really thank the poll workers. I tell you, that is a long, hard job.
Oh, it is a long day.
They got to be there by 6, so that means they got to be up and going long before that.
They're usually there by
in order
5.
to be there, get things opened up, and be ready for the first first voters at 6 a.m. They're there and don't leave until 7 p.m. that day.
Or until the last voter leaves. And that
right. The polls close at 7. Right. If there's somebody in line before 7, they get to vote. So so it is a long, long day, and you can't say enough for appreciation for those poll workers that come, and the judges that work those polls. That volunteers, jurors, people that end up. Basically, you volunteer when you're a juror. You get paid a little bit, but it hardly covers your gas into town. And but at any rate, but again, our poll workers just do a great job. And I know if Angie were here, she would really want to express her appreciation to all those poll workers and judges.
Right. And again, we thank everybody, and of course, Angie and her staff down there do a really good job and try and make it as easy as possible. I did see some people using a curbside voting, Darrell, and requesting that. And so, I'm glad that people were able to take advantage of all the different ways that you could vote, whether it be absentee or curbside voting or just come on in and cast your vote, whichever the case is. It's good to see people getting out. Would like to see more than 14% out though.
Yep, you sure would.
Yeah.
You sure would. But anyway, another election behind, and now another one coming up. August.
Very quickly.
What is that? August 3rd, August 4th?
August 4th.
Yeah, August 4th.
And the last day to register for that will be July 8th.
There you go.
That'll be here in a month. That doesn't sound even possible, does it?
Time flies when you're having fun.
You're not having fun. It seems to go by anyway.
or if you got monthly car payments.
Yeah, there you go. I want to thank you for coming in, spending some time with us a little bit early, and I know a very busy day for you today on this Thursday that we are recording this, and then also
busier tomorrow, Friday.
It's a very busy day for you today that we're playing it back. That's why we had to.
I do want to congratulate all the graduating seniors, though, that are going to be. This is airing on Friday, so that's going to be graduation ceremonies tonight, Friday evening, down at the football field. You have to have tickets, and they're again being limited because of the pandemic. And so, but I do want to congratulate all the seniors. It's really a totally different, whole different deal for the seniors graduating this year. But I also want to congratulate, and might be a little self-serving here, but I really want to a big shout out and congratulations to all those who are graduating from SBU too. I don't think we've over the years we never give enough recognition to them. Every year they have a capping ceremony, usually at First Baptist Church, and that is a really neat. I've been to 2 or 3 of those over the years.
It's all done online this year, back on May 16th. And
Yeah.
we really kind of missed that, don't we?
Yeah, really do. Because I tell you, we are. I can't say enough how fortunate we are to have that Southwest Baptist University have a facility like that here, and we have to extend so much credit to Wayne Gott and the Gott family for their support of that. Because without Wayne Gott and his work on that, we wouldn't have that here. And I don't know what the total number is, but we've got a lot of really fine people in this county who have been able to. They didn't get the big full ride scholarships, and they didn't. They weren't able to really go to college, but they come back here. They've been working, raising a family, and going to school, and going ahead and getting a college degree. And it's just pretty neat when you sit there and watch the capping deal over here to see these people that Now, I say my daughter's one who graduated. Gabby's graduating, and hey, Gab, good job, girl. But for all of them, great job. I mean, these, again, just like my daughter, they're working, got a family, and yet these hours at night going over there and doing that. But again, without the opportunity, and Southwest Baptist providing that opportunity, we're just very fortunate in this small town like we have here to have that opportunity, and for them people to get degrees. We got great teachers in our county and across the area.
Right.
That got their degree because they were able to do that.
Right, and I know one particular young lady that did that route. Darrell took her 10 years, but she graduated.
Yeah, that's right.
She got her degree, but it took her 10 years. She was working. She had to pay for different things on her own.
Bless her heart.
When you can only take maybe 9 hours or 6 hours, and that's all you can take. Or when your classes are available that you can take, it makes a big difference. And in some cases, she actually had to travel like to Kabul to take one class. Because it wasn't offered and it had to be.
But I was on. Dent Phelps R3 school board. I was on it for 20 years, and I can tell you, we had teachers that we hired that had gotten their degree from SBU, and those were very well-schooled, well-trained teachers, just as good as you'd hire out of the biggest, finest universities, So my hat's off to SBU, the whole staff over there, and the great job they do, and what they provide for our community and for us.
And a lot of those teachers actually end up going back and teaching a class.
Yes, sir.
SBU,
that's right.
Which is great.
They do. Yes. Actually, one teacher that we hired who's still a teacher at R3 actually teaches classes in the evenings at SBU. Yeah. So anyway, great deal. And again, congratulations to all the seniors at high school, Salem Bunker High School, Viburnum, if anybody be listening, but our SBU graduates as well.
We want to give a tip of the cap to Marty Anderson and the Salem 80 District for holding a graduation exercise.
Getting this
Many
organized.
Communities aren't even doing it.
It's quite a challenge, as you know.
And we also want to remind everybody, and we'll put out a little bit of a self-serving thing, and we will be streaming that on our KSMO radio website.
Yeah.
You can get a link to it on the high school page on Salem R80's webpage. There's a link; it'll take it right to it, and we'll be streaming that. If you don't want to go to our website and click on the streaming, you can go there, and we'll also be putting that link out on Facebook. So no matter where you are, you can be joining it, and we'll have you covered. So I know there's only 5 tickets per person. They're going to be spreading people out, but
each graduate
gets 5. But there's 136 graduates.
Yeah.
It's a larger class this year, which really makes it even tougher.
Yeah. But I looked in and Salem News always every year has a printout, had a deal with the pictures of all the graduates, and I looked through there and I didn't realize. I recognized many of those graduates because I see them. I know the families, known them for years and things. And
hard to believe they're a senior.
Hard to believe they're senior, but also though I've seen many of them. They're already out working and they're doing some things, and I've come to know some of them in that way, not realizing they were a senior this year and the stuff, And I thought, and these are some good kids. A bunch of these, we have things are in good hands here with this group of seniors. I see a lot of these kids that are coming on and hard working and responsible.
We have a lot of parents that work well with their children and teach them right, and it really does show up. And we have quite a few of our graduates here going off to the military in this class, and so we want to tip our cap to them too.
Yes. Yep. Yep, that's
Very
right.
good.
So
Well,
anyway,
to remind everybody, Darrell does pay for this program out of his own pocket. There are no tax dollars, funds, no COVID funds go for this.
Nope. Nope.
Doesn't go for
nope.
this.
Wrote a check this morning.
Yep, and he does. We really. I want to thank him for doing a wonderful job of explaining to you a little bit more in detail what goes on in your county, so that you're more aware, and you can be more aware just by listening to radio. And you can't experience everything, and the commission does a really good job of trying to keep everybody on top. And I tip my cap to them. That's not an easy job, and still meeting just once a week, and so it's hard sometimes to catch up on everything, but they do a fantastic job. All three commissioners have done a very good job during this COVID-19 situation.
Well, thank you, Stan. I hope folks enjoyed it and learned something. I know sometimes I tend to get off on some rabbit trails, and I've been a few times I get off on a rabbit trail and forgot where I even started from. But at any
You're
rate,
chasing turkeys.
well, that happens too. But anyway, I do hope folks enjoyed it, and do appreciate the opportunity, and get out. It seems like it's going to be pretty nice weather this weekend. So until we're back here in a couple of weeks, I do hope everyone will be safe, happy, healthy, and God bless each and every one of you.